Ever since I was a little kid, I've been playing violent, or what you would consider violent video games. One of my earliest memories was with my dad, and we were sitting down in his office chair and on the computer, and we were playing a Jedi Knight video game. And we were crawling through these tunnels, and we got to the end, and we faced a boss that was like Greedo from the Star Wars movies, the original trilogy. And he was big and fat, and he had this turret, and he had his bodyguards there, and they were all shooting at you. And since we couldn't get close enough to use our lightsaber on him, we had to get on a turret and shoot him back. And those games were pretty tame, but there was some blood, and there was explosions and stuff, so that's why someone would consider it violent. And I've always been a good kid, and I've got good grades, and I haven't been an idiot, and I think that it just doesn't affect me, and a lot of people I know, it doesn't affect them either. And I think that a lot of this, the violence that comes from bad video games that people say that kids do is just baloney. And in many video game studies, we see that you have some benefits from it, especially in small doses. You get improved reflexes, you get on-the-spot thinking, better problem solving. And to prove that it does work mostly in small doses, a researcher, Allison Fine, Michigan, says that in small doses, video games are a valuable and valid form of play which we do not need to fear. Much research in opposition to violent video games is new, and there are many conflicting studies, so judgment shouldn't be made yet. Video games have been proven to have many good attributes, like improving reflexes, reaction time, problem solving, and increase social interaction if it's an online multiplayer. And in the end, your parents have the final choice on whether you as a teen would be allowed to play any video games. So has science proven definitively that violent video games are harmful for teens? The answer right now is no. Most research is very new, as violent video games haven't been around that long, because the first video games you had were like Pong and Mario, and those were not violent at all. And to show that there's a lot of conflicting evidence, I have a quote from the New York Times. The proliferation of violent video games has not coincided with spikes in youth crime. The number of violent youth offenders fell more than half between 1994 and 2010, to 224 per population, according to government statistics, while video game sales have more than doubled since 1996. And then to show that that is conflicting with other research, researchers at the Indiana University School of Medicine say that brain scans of kids who played a violent video game showed an increase in emotional arousal and a corresponding decrease in activity in brain areas involving self-control, inhibition, and attention, says Kristen Cowling of NBC News. And another reason why there hasn't been a lot of research about violent video games is that it's been a pretty recent topic, as the biggest part of it came out of the Sandy Hook school shooting. The shooter was found to play a lot of games like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. So President Obama called Congress to set aside $10 million to fund studies to see whether video games made you violent. And now that's good and all, but they're only looking for the bad side of video games. So that's one part that shows that there's some bias in a lot of the research that's being done. So we need more neutral research. And so what are some of the benefits of playing video games? I think the one that I can come to right now is when I play a lot of a game mode called Search and Destroy on Call of Duty. And it's very tactical, and you have to think about what your opponent's doing to beat them. And if some guy goes to the same spot every round and he kills your whole team, then he kills your whole team, he's going to want to do it again because he's greedy and he's going to think it's fun getting that 4 kills. And if I outsmart him and flank him or maybe throw a grenade, then I could win the round. So that just shows that my on-the-spot critical thinking and problem solving has increased. And now I would love for kids to be able to make their own choices as long as they aren't being stupid, but your parents are still in charge. The fact remains that we shouldn't be having this argument. We should still do more research so that parents can make their own choice, but you still have the decision either way to decide whether your kids play any video games. Once there's more research that is both good, bad, and neutral, parents can decide for their own kids' health whether they should be allowed to play video games. It has already been proven that video games in small doses are beneficial and they help with problem solving. And I suggest that you go play the games for yourself and develop your own opinion from there. I would expect that you would like playing all sorts of games, ranging from Mario to GTA to Pokemon. And don't ruin your children's childhood just because you're afraid that a virtual gun will make them go rob a bank.